You're listening to Channel 98.9. It's time for another edition of Your Community Today. And with me today in the studio is Kimberly Hawkes. She's the founder of the Friends of the Corry Junction Greenway Trail and also the vice president of Erie to Pittsburgh Trail Alliance. Hey, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
I know you're planning a big event for Celebrate Trails coming up on June 20th, and we're going to talk all about that. But before we do that, why don't you give us a quick 60-second intro to yourself and the organization?
My name is Kimberly Hawkes. Grew up in Corry, moved away for a while and returned, and found my love of everything trail in the Corry area. Have been working on trails for the last probably 5 or 6 years and updating them, expanding them, and programming them for Corry and its residents. The Friends of the Corry Junction Greenway Trail, we are a all-volunteer organization that are committed to programming on the trail, listening to the residents' input as far as what you would like to see on the trail as far as amenities. And also that has leveraged into being vice president of the Erie to Pittsburgh Trail Alliance, of which the Corry Junction Greenway Trail is a part of that trail system.
And we'll talk a little bit more about the trail itself as well in just a minute. But let's get into the details. June 20th. Tell us all about it.
It's our 6th annual Celebrate Trails Day, but it's not just about the trail. It's about a celebration of everything nature in Northwest Pennsylvania and all the people who call it home. It is June 20th at the American Legion Pavilion, which is 1460 Scioto Road in Corry. The main events are going to be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., but we will have some events leaving before that time with bike rides, some fun runs, a guided native plant walk earlier than the 11 a.m. time frame. Parking is free. There's plenty of parking at the pavilion. If we need overflow parking, we have overflow parking across the street. And as far as weather goes, you will see that, yes, this is our 6th celebration, and we are constantly moving it back a few weeks. We're hoping to have great Pennsylvania sunny weather, 70s, and sunshine would be great. But in case it doesn't work out quite that way, we have some fun activities planned that we can play underneath the pavilion. So we have a lot of things planned. As I said, everything is free. It's family friendly, all intended to be fun out in nature. So we will probably start the day with a 20-mile bike ride in conjunction with Bike Erie. But if 20-mile bike ride isn't your thing, we have a slow roll 2-mile bike ride just on the trail, nice and flat. We will have some fun runs, probably a short distance as well as a longer distance run. There will be a guided native plant walk on the trail, right from the pavilion down towards 426. One of the things that we have, which is really cool, is a bike rodeo. So bring your own bike or borrow one of ours. Bike rodeo is basically an obstacle course for all. And we'll have prizes, for, the most interesting bike ride. For those of you who don't really want to walk the whole trail, we have hay rides. So they'll be narrated and leave from the American Legion Pavilion and progress all the way up to our beaver pond. Along the way, you'll learn some interesting facts about the trail, plants, and wildlife also along the trail. Additionally, we'll have an equipment show of some of the cool equipment that is used to maintain the trail. And of course, since it's going to be outside, we got to have some educational pieces. Sure. So we're going to learn some interesting facts about Hare Creek and the trestle that the trail uses to cross Hare Creek. Trout Unlimited is actually going to be on site this year, and we'll be teaching how to tie flies and even practice some fly fishing, out in the grassy areas, and probably maybe give you some tips on how to catch some of those beautiful brown trout that are in Hare Creek. Mm-hmm. The PA Game Commission is going to be on site and talking about the types of animals that can be found along the trail and the state game lands that run alongside the trail. PennDOT's going to be there as well to discuss bike and pedestrian safety. And we have bird guides available that have been identified by our own Dr. Teresa Consul, noting the types of species that are actually found along the trail. We have over 120 species already identified. In addition to all those activities, we still want to get public's input. What is it that you want to see on the trail? What type of amenities do you want to see? Where do you want the trail to go? One of the things that we are looking to do is obviously expand. What areas should we expand to first? Spartansburg, Union City, Columbus, Corry, we want your input. Help us design a trail logo. As we are growing, we need to be able to identify ourselves, even more. So how will we do that? And of course, there's all just the straight up fun. It is a trail celebration, so you got to have fun. Yeah. 98.9 is going to be there giving us like a fantastic soundtrack for the day. Plus's Lunchbox is going to be there with some tasty food. We'll have free ice cream and s'mores, so come on out. In addition, we also have some giveaways, which, are no purchases are required to enter the drawings. We'll have some free seeds for native plants, bird feeders, bird house, some trail swag, and a boy and girls bike. So there are many, many activities for everybody at the celebration.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
It is, but it should be a great day for everyone.
Yeah. So just to recap again, it's coming up on June 20th, and it's at the American Legion in Corry. Behind the American Legion is that pavilion, and the trail kind of runs not too far from that. The trail actually starts around Route 426, right?
Correct.
And goes all the way to Clymer.
Correct.
So yeah, come on out to the Celebrate Trails event June 20th. Channel 98.9 will be on hand. We'll have some giveaways. So how can people get more information about Celebrate Trails? What's the best way to do that?
The best way to do that is to follow us, or at least look us up on our Friends of the Corry Greenway Junction Trail Facebook page. Yep. We will constantly be having updates out there as we finalize some of the details. Further, we will be putting up flyers around town at the shops where people are visiting to get more information.
If they want to get involved in some of the activities, do they need to register ahead of time?
Most activities do not require registration. Again, if you go out to our Facebook page, we will, if anything does change that we want to see registration, just to make sure that we maybe have enough bikes or something if people are going to borrow bikes. Sure. We will have that information out there. But the Facebook page is really going to be the best place, source of information.
Sure. We're talking today with Kimberly Hawkes. She's the founder of the Friends of Corry Junction Greenway Trail and vice president of the Erie to Pittsburgh Trail Alliance. So a lot of people listening may not know about the actual trail. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, maybe a brief history, and where it's located and how people can use it?
Sure. So the junction, as we like to call it, is a treasured 6.1 mile multi-use trail that connects Corry to Clymer, New York. It's an ADA compliant crushed limestone trail, and that means that the actual trail surface is flat and about 10 feet wide to allow hikers, bikers, runners, and even horses to use the ride along the grassy berms. And the trail lies on the former Penn Central rail bed and is the first rail trail in Erie County. You might ask yourself, well, where does it go? Does it connect only to Clymer? No, it does not. So the junction is part of the Greater Erie to Pittsburgh Trail and the Industrial Heartland Trail Coalition, which connects to Ohio and West Virginia. So additional trails can take you literally across the country. Studies have also recently been completed to evaluate connecting the trail directly from Dobbins Landing in Erie to Corry. And a second one was just completed for a trail system that would connect from Buffalo to Pittsburgh. That would come through Columbus into Corry. Locally, also very exciting, is the future Rail Plus Trail Park. And that's going to be right at the center of Center Street in Maine. And that will actually be a major trailhead for us on the Erie to Pittsburgh Trail. So Corry was originally founded as a major hub of two rail lines. Yep. And the future could be that Corry is also a major hub of the junction of a Maine east-west as well as north-south trail. So we are really looking forward to connecting to our local neighbors in Columbus, Spartansburg, and Union City first. Okay. One of the things that's really special about the Greenway Trail is because of where it's located. The trail offers a full nature experience. You can see, hear, smell, and feel everything around you. Sunlight filters through the tall, mature trees while birds sing, bald eagles are soaring overhead, and even beavers seen at work. These are special sights that you actually don't find on other trails. So the former rail line winds through the scenic Broken Straw Valley with gentle hills, wildlife, trees, and wildflowers all along the way. Much of the trail is actually shaded by old-growth trees, keeping it cool in the summer and peaceful all year long, with the sounds of birds creating a calming backdrop for a refreshing walk in the woods. And because the trail is actually off-road, it's safe for all ages, from children to grandparents. We've also been working to improve the experience. So more than half the trail has recently been upgraded to a wider nature corridor, fresh limestone, and new native plantings. So as a result, more people are actually using the trail and enjoying it every day. But we continue to listen to people of what still would they like to see as improvements on the trail. And we've literally just within the past probably week just added 4 benches, to provide a stop for rest or just to sit and enjoy the beauty of nature. So the junction provides a safe, free place for people to connect with nature and each other. the more we spend time outside, the more we can slow down, have real conversations, and build stronger connections beyond just a passing wave. If you want to use the trail, the main trailhead starts at basically Route 426 near the concrete plant and St. Elizabeth Cemetery. There's a trailhead right there, and it heads due north. There's a secondary trailhead at Hereford Road. And as we say, the trail goes all the way into Clymer, New York. And so there are times when we are out doing some trail maintenance work that we see people, and as we're talking to them, they're on their way to Clymer for pancakes. So you can get your exercise. Yeah, that's right. You can get your exercise and get some tasty treats along the way.
So when did the trail actually open?
The trail construction, it's many different segments. And so construction actually started in 2008 and was fully complete by 2012. And so what would happen is along the way, the first section would be complete, so that section would be open. We do have a lot of crossroads. So we go from 426 to Plastics Road to Scioto Road, Scioto Road to Hereford Road to Simmons, Simmons to Plank to Mill, and Mill to Knowlton. So all those little sections, as they were complete, we would open them up, to the public. And so, like I say, some of them have about over half of it has just recently been updated. Some are still more, I'd say, grassy areas, and limestone will be coming.
Okay. We're talking with Kimberly Hawkes today about the Corry Junction Greenway Trail and also Celebrate Trails event that's coming up on June 20th at the American Legion in Corry. Before I let you go, talk a little bit about the two organizations that you're involved with. So you're the founder of the Friends of Corry Junction Greenway Trail and the VP of the Erie to Pittsburgh Trail Alliance. Talk about those two organizations.
Sure. The Friends of the Corry Junction Greenway Trail, basically a group of local trail advocates who realized that every time we were out on the trail, we would always encounter people that said, I didn't even know this was here. And so one of the things, this really is a tremendous asset for the area. And we wanted to make sure people are aware that it's there and, what they can use it for, the fact that it's free, and then to hear from people what would they like to see improved. A few years ago, it was, hey, this surface is looking a little rough. Can you make some improvements? And so we actually got some grants and upgraded the surface. Recently it's been more, can you provide a bench? We just provided some new native plantings along the 426 to Plastics Road piece. And so we're really excited to see the spring colors start to pop because we have a lot of dogwoods and things that are in that area now. And we also just added a educationally interpretive sign about Hare Creek so that you can actually learn some facts about that, as well as the trestle that the trail uses to cross that creek. So we really are trying to work with the community to understand, what they want in their trail and see what we can do to provide it. The Erie to Pittsburgh Trail Alliance is a network of trail associations along the way from Erie all the way down to Pittsburgh. It's a 270-mile corridor. The trail itself is probably 70-ish % complete. Our goal is to try to get up to about 95% within the next 5 years. And what that will allow us to do is to actually close some of those gaps. And so that we can actually take the trail, get down into Corry, hopefully get to this rail and trail park, which is just going to be spectacular, continue on down to Spartansburg, make the connection to Spartansburg. And so, if you want to go and have a, enjoyable day, maybe you take a bike ride down to Spartansburg. We're also working very closely with Union City to try to really make some progress on the Corry to Union City gap. And since I live out in Columbus, I'm always advocating, hey, we need some going our direction. We just completed a study, like I say, from Buffalo to Pittsburgh Trail, and that would actually connect Corry to Jamestown, going through Columbus. And so that would also allow us to then connect down to the trails down in Warren, down at Kinzoo and Jake's Rocks and things. So the more that we are connected, it just gives people another choice. If they would like to go outside and run, bike, whatever, more options, to choose.
Great. If somebody was so inclined, maybe they want to get involved with helping either of these organizations or the trail, maybe maintenance and things like that, is that available? Is somebody, what could somebody do?
Absolutely. We always need help. The entire organization is all volunteer. We are always looking for people to help us. It could be anything from, cutting back, some invasive vegetation, just cutting back vegetation, in general, planting, native wildflowers, watering them if we have dry conditions like we did for a while last year, writing grants, helping with programming. Helping just get the word out on the street. We're always looking for volunteers. Every age is welcome. And even if you can do 1 hour a month to 10 hours a week, anything that you can provide is welcome. Contact us through our Facebook page, and we will be more than happy to reach out and get you involved.
Well, let's recap. We're talking with Kimberly Hawkes today about Celebrate Trails. It's coming up on June 20th at the American Legion in Corry. There's plenty of activities for everybody. Grab a bite to eat and hang out. Enjoy the trail, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, we want to see everybody there on June 20th. Thanks for coming in today, Kimberly.
Thank you.